Well, I see everything seems to be in order. Welcome for another multi-voice reviewer. Another multi-voice review. I am the multi-voice. I am many voices, but one opinion. And today, it's June again. You know what that means. Besides my birthday, today is Asian month. And the reason why I'm wearing my Doctor Who outfit, and as you can see, I'm wearing a sweater vest because my old vest kept getting tighter and tighter that I can't wear it anymore. So I had to switch that navy vest and change it to a beige sweater vest, which I find it more comfortable. At least it doesn't get so tight on my gut that I can't even breathe. But the reason why I'm doing Asian month is because what would you think if the Japanese created Doctor Who? Now I have my phone here. It would show me a certain fan-made video, and I'm going to show it in the screen here. Hope I don't get flagged for it. But this is a Japanese video about the Japanese version, a Japanese Doctor Who. My reaction. Well, he looks good. That's a Dalek? Those are Cybermen? So the Dalek is the main villain and the Cybermen are the minions? Dalekor. Well, that's a really cool outfit he's wearing. Like the outfit. All white. Kind of makes me think of Power Rangers. Damn you, Doctor Who. He's called the Doctor! Well, I have some Kung Fu in it. No Venusian Aikido. Exterminate! Ho 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 ho. Well, he ain't having a laser. Sonic Screw Sword? It's a plastic toilet plunger with a couple of pipes attached to it. Oh, now it's a Dragon Zord? Oh, he called him a bastard. Well, he's screwed, figuratively speaking. Well, I have to say, that is, I mean, it just kind of makes me think, kind of like what the British movies have done. You know, the Doctor Who and the Daleks with Peter Cushing as the Doctor, except they call him Doctor Who. But of course, I thought that was the most ridiculous thing that they have created. But all of a sudden, somebody once told me that somebody have done a Ultraman series, which you have seen me review Ultraman before. I mean, if you haven't seen my Ultraman review, stop this video, go back and check it out. But somebody have done a an Ultraman version of Doctor Who. And the series I'm going to be reviewing for you today is none other than Doctor Who Ultra. I mean, Ultraman Orb. Made back in 2016. Now, we have this character who goes by the name of Guy Cournier, played by Hainio Ishigaru. Bear with me on the name. He's like the doctor version in this whole thing. And of course, we have the master-like character who calls himself Jugglist Juggler. Jugglist Juggler? What kind of name is that? And he's played by Takaya Oyagi. And then we have these group of people who calls himself the SSP, means something search people. And it's led by this one girl who goes by the name of Naomi Yamano, played by the lovely Miyabi Matsure. And of course, she has two fellas who works with her. One named Shin Matsudu, played by Hiroki Norio. And of course, there's the other guy named Jetta Hayami, played by Nadio Takahashi. Now, Shin, he's the one who creates these silly gadgets like weather devices to see if there's a next weather coming up, while Jinta, he always keeps carrying a camera, always keep videotaping whatever is happening. Like whenever there's another giant monster alert, he always keeps videotaping it. And of course, they have a member of the VTL, which is Versatile Technical Leader. And his name is Itashu Shibakaya, played by Shingu Yanagesaru. Bear with me on the names. I mean, I'm trying to do my best. And of course, here's a little background. Turns out there was a fight between Ultraman Orb that we have right here. This is our Ultraman this time. And he was battling against this one monster, but he had to use his powers to destroy the monster, but his explosion killed off this young girl that turned out that he was Guy's love interest. And the girl, her name is Vada. Oh no, wait. Her name is Natasha Womova, played by Vladia. And she's like a Russian model who just gave her a part in a Japanese series. She's supposed to be like a girl that is a part of Guy's past, a love interest. And of course, Juggler he's trying to create problems and he's trying to create problems, try releasing the giant monster in the world, and he joins a group of these monsters, and it's led by Don Nashira. And of course, there is this girl. She's supposed to be like this mysterious girl who goes by the name of Haruka, played by Norimi Uno. And of course, the first monster that first appeared, he is called Alien Babalu. Babalu. Kind of like Lucy. Lucy, I'm home! Babalu! Anyway, there was a fight between Guy and Juggalos, and he releases the King Devil Beast. He's planning to create this creature who calls himself the King Devil Beast in order to bring the end of the world. And Juggalos was killed by this alien who calls himself Knuckle. Alien Knuckle, who is in league with the Dawn. But of course, he didn't kill him. Turns out Juggalos came back and he killed Knuckle and Don Nasra. And what they done, Juggler all of a sudden releases his monstrous form, his kaiju form here. And then all of a sudden, Nami's, she starts singing, and it kind of reminds her of the same song that the guy who has been playing everywhere he goes. He has this odd-looking harmonica, and he always keeps playing the same song that he always plays. And then from out of nowhere, out comes Namiya, her mother, who goes by the name of Kiku. Her mother, Kiku, shows up, who is played by Minaku Tanaka. Oh, right. The Dream Girl. Yeah, Haruka, she keeps seeing the future on what's going to happen to Ultraman Orb, which is Guy, and she knows that he is Ultraman, so she's trying to prevent it. Now, bear with me on some of this stuff because sometimes I don't always try to get everything in order and such. Now, there was this mysterious Queen of the Monster who goes by the name of Tamiyura, Tamiyura, played by the lovely Kazuyoshi Nagazo. Now, she shows up, and she's trying to prevent Juggler's plan on trying to release all the monsters. And then out comes this one monster who calls herself Magaoshi. Now, Guy lost against Juggler and took all of his Ultraman cards. That's one thing he does. One thing that Guy does is he collects cards of all the Ultraman and he combines the two to form a Ultraman Orb. And the most common one he makes is, of course, the OG Ultraman, like the figure I have here, and of course the other one, Ultraman Tiga. But of course, he has other cards that sort of combining other Ultramans that he does. Now, of course, Kiko planted some seeds, and Tamio came back to help, and she gave him a card of the darkest Ultraman that I wish he didn't have that card, and it is the card of Ultraman Belial. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ultraman Belial is the darkest and evil Ultraman of all. I mean, he is the darkest one of all. If you ask me, Juggler should have that card, not Guy. But anyway, this one creature who calls himself the Galactron kidnaps Namiya, Ultraman Orb, stabbed. He got stabbed, while so he had to use the Blio. Namiya got wounded. Guy decided to leave. Namiya's mom's come back, and of course, Guy keeps having flashbacks of Natasha, which, believe it or not, it turns out that the Guy he's immortal, and he was with Natasha back in 1908. Just how old is this guy? And he still can't get over her death because it turns out that he used too much of his Ultraman power that pretty much killed Natasha. Juggler, pissed off Guy, and then this one kaiju monster called Zepanadin. Guy decided to give up, but Natasha's spirit, she showed up to help. But of course, it turns out to be Nominee because there's some sort of connection between Natasha and Nominee. And all of a sudden, he has a blank card. Guy saves Nominee from Juggler. And it turns out that Nominee is a descendant to Natasha. So it turns out that Natasha must be her great 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 grandmother. So Nominee is part Russian? Now, of course, every time when Ultraman is using that dark, evil Ultraman card, he goes way too far. He gets all bloodthirsty and all, and it costs the VTL to trying to launch a missile at him. But Nominee, she starts singing, and then all of a sudden, a Orb Excalibur showed up, and it became his trusty weapon throughout the show. And then we met Ishitu's daughter, which her name is Itasuko, played by the lovely Shika Arako. she meets this street salesman and gives her this blue crystal, and it turns out that this blue crystal is actually a shy play. And of course, using the blue crystal, he starts releasing his own kaiju called Brimulor. But of course, as usual, the father stopped shy play, and that defeated Blimio. Sometimes I'm talking about the monsters, but you know how it goes. Ultraman kills those monsters, and of course Juggler. And then there was a wishing stone. Turns out that turns out that Namine's friend, whose name is Mio Yagaru, she's getting married, played by Yoko. She's getting married, and sadly, Nomi is completely jealous of her friend finding somebody and getting married while she is still single, even though she has her eye on Guy, but kind of hard to say really likes if he really likes her or not. But she got so jealous because there is this wishing stone saying that who every single woman puts their shoes in front of the stone wishing to be married, they start ending up married. But out of hatred and jealousy over Yoko, she tossed her broken shoes in front of the stone, and now the stone created this one kaiju calls itself Rinki. Turns out Rinki is a samurai kaiju of jealousy and envy, and would destroy anybody that somebody is jealous of. So she felt bad about it and even apologized. She even apologized to her friend, and she said it's forgiven. So they both hugged. Yeah, it's better not to be envious towards people. It's better to be happy for them and move on. And then all of a sudden, another kaiju who goes by the name of Trigger, he's vowing revenge to Juggler because of what he did to the Dom. But of course, Naminé tries to help Juggler. But of course, as usual, Ultraman stopped him. And then there is this blue ribbon girl, also known as Mia, played by the lovely Kayako Okado. She starts getting attached to some kaiju, and she has this bracelet on her wrist, and she's using it to control an evil monster, which this monster is called the Zatin. But of course, sadly, Maya has no memory of her past, and when he destroyed the device on her wrist, now she's completely. I mean, she just doesn't remember anything. But she was being taken care of to an elderly couple who wishes that they'd like to have a daughter. So she decided to go off on her own and trying to find her past. But the elderly couple says if you ever need a place to stay, they're always right there. And she appreciates it. And of course, there is this new cafe called Cafe Black Star. And turns out that one of the monsters is called the Nova showed up. And of course, the Black Commander, he's starting this coffee for alien monsters. And of course, there's always a feud between Guy and Juggler. And of course, believe it or not, Haruka shows up to warn Guy another tragedy is going to happen in his past. And all of a sudden, Juggler revealed himself in his monster form. Shin got hurt, but he's okay. But surprisingly, the VTL arrested Juggler. And then, all of a sudden, 3 kaiju monsters showed up, but they died because Earth itself is getting really, really hot. And it turns out it's the Mega Ochi is what Juggler is trying to release. But of course, Guy becomes Ultraman and finally defeats Mega Ochi. Juggler showed up, and at first I thought he killed Nami, but she's okay. But Shin and Jedha is trapped under the rubble. One ship crashed, and Juggler saved her. He saved Nomi. And it turns out in the past, that Natasha wasn't really dead. Juggler made Guy think he killed her with his Ultraman power because he couldn't control it, but it turns out Juggler showed up and saved Natasha, but still made Guy think that she was dead all along. My words to Gilbert Gottfried. Hello, Gilbert Gottfried here, and one thing I gotta say about Juggler, what an asshole! Thank you, I'll be here all night. Jeez. Now, Guy thanks Juggler, and Nami tells Juggler to help Guy because he's in trouble. So now Guy and Juggler decided to team up to defeat the Mega Ochi, and of course Juggler sacrificed himself in order to save Ultraman Orb. So now the monster is over, and of course Juggler fakes his death, of course. And one thing Guy did, it's like what the Doctor always do in Doctor Who. He always walks off, leaves without sticking around to be thanks. So he just walked off without saying goodbye. Until 2017, they decided to make a movie called Ultraman Let Me Borrow the Power of Bonds. And on this one is going to be like some sort of a team up with other Ultraman, because it turns out Juggler is back, but he's being a servant to this one monster. He meets this one monster called the Gapia Sedeth. And of course, there is more kaiju involved, and of course, there is this creature. This evil woman who calls herself Malio, played by Oniako Tsubaki. She's trying to bring diamonds into the world and turn everything into diamonds. And that's what she's doing, and even held in every single Ultraman captive. So, pretty much, Ultraman Orb, aka Guy, he teams up with Ultraman Zero, Ultraman X, Ultraman Giga, Ultraman Victory, Ultra 7, and of course, he developed this new version called Ultraman Trinity, where now, not only that he can combine himself with 2 Ultraman, he can combine himself with 3 Ultraman. And of course, Juggalo himself, he helped out, and that was it. The woman was defeated, and the day is saved. And of course, he also meets the original members of the SSP, and this time they finally realize that he is Ultraman Orb, and this time they decided to give him a proper thanks. About damn time. And then they did this huge Ultraman crossover miniseries called Ultra Fight Orb. It had all the Ultraman together, and they're fighting against this creature who calls himself the Rabatos, and of course summoning all the other monsters. So pretty much it's just like one big monster causing problems. So one Ultraman meets all the other Ultraman to fight this big battle. And one thing I didn't mention here, there is even this new series they did called Ultraman Orb: The Origin Saga. Now, Ultraman Orb: The Origin Saga is usual. You have one backstory that Guy and Juggalo, they were friends, and of course Guy is chosen. And of course, there is this whole deal with this bad guy who calls himself Dr. Psyche, and of course there is this empress who calls himself Amate, and she refused to become this giant kaiju savior. And there is this insect being that turns out to be sisters, and of course, takes place in the planet called Kanan, but they also meet a Earthman, and of course the Empress combined herself with the Earthman, and of course Juggalo falls in love with one of the guards, and the guard seems to like her, but she died, so he shows off more of his dark side, and he just had enough. So, but he also there are also a lot of Ultraman crossovers involved. Like for instance, it becomes this huge Ultraman crossover. So he comes across with here we go. He meets Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Cosmos, Ultraman Gia, and Ultraman Uggle. Now let's see. So pretty much, it's pretty much a Ultraman Assemble! And of course, Juggalo helped. But, I mean, the origin, it was okay. I mean, it didn't explain more on Guy and Juggalo, but it did explain how Juggalo become evil, but that was it. So, I mean, for those of you who wants to see more of Ultraman Orb, you can watch the Origin Saga. If not, just watch the original series of Ultraman Orb, and of course, the two movies. And that's all I'm going to say. This is my review for today. And if any of you likes this review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more. And as for me, tomorrow's going to be, well, today is Thursday, so it's my birthday, so I'm going to go to the Doctor Who museum/store to celebrate my birthday. And of course, one thing I do got as an early Christmas gift, I got these Ultraman Omnibus graphic novels. And they are giving me some ideas to make some new episodes of my own Doctor Who. And I guess I get confused between saying Ultraman and Doctor Who, but I meant Doctor Who and, of course, the store and museum. So, if you like this review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And there's going to be more Asian Month coming because next week I'm going to be talking about Dragon Ball. Kamehameha!